And our last coach today is head baseball coach Joel Holst.
Yeah, our baseball team is, we've had 43 guys. Basically, we're getting into our fourth week of practices. Very veteran group of kids. I think in the time that I've been here, we've had 4 years where we've had 12 seniors. We have 13 seniors this year, and we have 14 juniors. So, pretty veteran group of kids. They've had the opportunity to win the last 2 Iowa Conference championships. They've been, our program has been in the national setting 3 of the last 4 years, and the culture, the work ethic, chemistry, whatever you want to call it, has been really good here through the fall season and through the 4 weeks of practices that we're getting into. So our guys have high expectations. I see we're just slightly out of the top 25 rankings right now. I think so. Our kids know that the schedule that we have ahead of us is going to be really tough. We basically, from a schedule standpoint, in Florida, we play 4 teams that were in the national tournament last year. We are going to be playing a couple Minnesota schools up in U.S. Bank Stadium. St. Thomas is always a tough program, probably one of the better programs in that particular conference. And Hamline University is an up-and-coming program, was in their conference tournament, and we've struggled a little bit. We were supposed to play them in U.S. Bank Stadium here coming up next Tuesday, and for some reason or another, a new facility, they had a tractor pull and they couldn't get it turned around fast enough. So it was kind of odd about 2 months ago that we were struggling finding a date to play, and we scheduled that for the middle of March. But we think that we're going to play at home Sunday, so we're moving that date up. Middle of February, playing at home. It'll be a first for us. Hopefully we can get our facility ready to go, but we're excited about that opportunity if it happens for us. But that's the plan right now, is that we'll open up next Sunday and then travel to Florida. We've got some really good competition. Concordia Chicago is, I see they're ranked in the top 25. We end up playing them 3 times basically within about a week period. So they're going to come to our place the weekend after our southern trip, and then we go to St. Louis and Webster University, and Concordia Chicago will be tough there. And while the other Iowa Conference schools are opening up that weekend, we'll be playing in our non-conference side of it with a bye that weekend, and then we get into conference play. The Iowa Conference is, I think, from top to bottom, will be strong. A lot of good performers that graduated last year. I know Buena Vista had a really senior-dominated team, but I'm sure has got a lot of pitching back. I know Luther kind of came on at the end last season and had a nice run into the national tournament setting and has got some nice players returning there. I think the rest of the teams is just like Jamie was talking about on the softball side of it, that you've got to be ready to go every time you show up. There isn't a team that you can come in there and play, not well and win. And so we're excited about the schedule that we have. As I stated before, I was just looking at it. We've got 5 of our top 6 pitchers returning. Tanner Eckhart was a left-handed pitcher for us last year, won his regional game, had kind of a bicep injury towards the end of the conference season. He was kind of one of those kids that had great outings, and then we brought some relief in and he would lose a decision. And so we're hoping that his luck is a little better, but he really is. I know we're getting scouts all the time. Left-handed pitcher that's upper 80s kid. So we're excited about his development. Well, we've got 2 seniors that have been pitching a lot in our program, Max Sling-Heinrich and Taylor Gilson. Just have a lot of innings. Just like any season, you're hoping you stay healthy. But if we could stay healthy there with that starting pitching, Austin Bowling is a left-handed pitcher, and Chris Tompkins. Those were our two best relief kids last year, and so they've got that experience coming into game situations when it's tough. And we've got four kids, three of them are seniors, that Michael Naus had a tremendous sophomore year, and then last year just had a tough time being consistently in the zone. But I mean, he's a 6'6" kid that is upper 80s, and I know he's excited about having a great senior year. Gavin Notterman has been a relief kid for us that's pitched since his first year in our program. Andrew Jordan's another kid that injury-wise, we've got two kids that injury-wise that is coming back and are healthy now and looking forward to their senior years, Andrew Jordan and Eric Huber. So I think the depth that we have there, we've got some good young pitchers too that we're hoping can help us a little bit. Positionally, we've got 7 starters returning. Some of them, like Jake Thuman that has started, since his sophomore year and had 12 home runs last year and is definitely one of the better players in our region. Great leader. So we're excited about Jake, again, in right field for us. Blake Mahoney had 28, I think he was 28 of 33 stolen bases last year and started in left. Will probably move over to center for us this year. Clay Henning was an all-conference player for us at short last year. Zach Hovick had a tremendous sophomore year and will be our starting first baseman. We've got 2 catchers, really 3 catchers that have a lot of experience, but 2 that split most of our time last year, and we couldn't really get them on all conference teams because they were splitting time. The numbers just weren't there. Mike Brown and Cody Heiler have done just a tremendous job with our pitching staff, and so we're excited about that leadership that they provide there. And Mike is going to play a lot of third base also with us, so instead of those 2 guys splitting times, the Iowa Conference is all 9-inning games, so it's the 9-inning game is not easy, and when you're playing a 3-game series, that's a lot of innings for one catcher. So we know we need to make sure that we're playing more than one catcher, but I think Mike is definitely going to help us at third, and we'll be able to help Cody with some of the catching short as we go through the season. Ty Mugin is another kid that started as a freshman for us, and he was basically beaten out last year in our infield, and we lost a third baseman to graduation, and I'm sure he's excited about getting another opportunity his senior year. We've got some other kids that have played a lot in our program that have been around. Sam Van Fleet, again, another catcher that's a senior. David Fitzgerald and Austin Lechtenberg will probably platoon in our left field situation, and I think both of them are quality kids. And we've got one transfer that was important. We lost a second baseman last year by the name of Willis, and we've got another Willis, hopefully, that we'll be able to replace him. Eric was Player of the Year his senior year at the high school level, and was looking at Wartburg initially, and then because I think of the senior season that he had, ended up going the junior college route, and then spent some time in the Division I setting, and very athletic kid, so we're excited about adding Eric in terms of our lineup. So there's a lot of juniors and seniors there. We didn't mention any sophomores or freshmen, so we're hoping we can take advantage of the experience, and we just know that the competition, and it's good to have an experienced group and really challenge them related to the competition early in our season. So we're excited about getting started and maybe even a little earlier than what we thought at home here this weekend. Questions?
Your approach going into those spring break games, playing top 25 teams, is that different than coming into conference games where you've seen those guys so many times before?
Yeah, we try to play the best schedule that we can. I think the last 2 years, we won the regular season championships, and then we got into the championship day and ended up getting beat in the conference tournament. And so we had, there's only 14 teams that get at-large bids in the nation, which is very difficult to get. So we were lucky that we played, good schedules early. And so it's always nice to kind of play some of these teams that you don't see a lot. Although, really, to be honest with you, our early preseason schedule has got a lot of good teams on it that we've seen quite a bit. Webster University is hosting the regional again in the St. Louis area, and so we get a chance to go back down to that facility, and hopefully we get a chance to go back down at the end of May, middle of May, related to a regional setting there. And I think a lot of our kids right now, because of the experience, know that we just have got to play a little better at the end here. And there's such a small difference between winning and losing, and at the national level, and even in the conference tournament championship settings, So we're excited about taking some of the experience, and hopefully we can stay healthy here as we go through a tough season.
Looks like you've got a little bit of everything in this on this roster. I mean, in terms of speed, power. I mean, hitting for average, pitching depth. You feel that way? I mean, do you have any real concerns going in?
Yeah, I would say that we lost some middle of the order kids to graduation last year. Tanner Johnson, Ryan Kemp, Milton Cruz. Those three kids are pretty difficult to replace. I think that we will replace them with more athleticism, and so we're excited about putting pressure on defenses as much as we can. And that's kind of the type of baseball that I enjoy coaching and seeing played. And so I really feel like we've got probably 5 to 6 kids that can straight steal a base and will hit and run. And so we may not be the, we've kind of had a lot of home runs through the last 3 years, and Jake obviously returning helps in that situation, but even Jake Thuman can steal bases for us. So we're excited about the athleticism, but being able to replace some of those middle of the order kids probably will be on the offensive side is probably going to be the challenge that we have early.
Then as I look at your pitching depth, some of these kids like Gilson and Naderman and Naus and even Lang Heinrich, it seems like 2 years ago they were phenomenal. They had big years, and then last year slid back a little bit.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of depth, so the problem with that is that if you don't have some good outings, if you have some, and that's what happened with like a Michael Naus. It just so happened he was coming in behind Eckhart, and had some leads and stuff, and he just kind of gave up some leads. And so Noderman was the same way. We're two guys that we were really expecting big things of last year. And the thing is that, with the depth, and we had some pitchers that weren't getting the job done. Sometimes, it might be a little while in between opportunities to get back on the mound. So I think good teams are going to have pitching depth. Sometimes that depth can be tough if you're just not getting it done consistently. And so I'm sure those kids are excited, about it's a new year, and taking advantage of those early opportunities is probably where their focus is going to be, because they realize that having some depth, there's probably going to be other kids getting the job done. Obviously, that's what the coaches are hoping for.